So great to be back. We started ProductCon in 2019 here at the Barbican Center. So it's been a tradition for us to host at least one conference per year here, in addition to the ones we host in New York and San Francisco. Today, I want to talk about the AI native product operating model. We're currently living in an AI paradox defined by three conflicting stories. On the one hand, we have the SaaS companies that are collapsing. It's called the SaaScopalyx, something like that. There was over $1 trillion destroyed within the first week of February. $1 trillion was evaporated. And the narrative was that the market was worried about AI agents displacing the traditional business models of major SaaS providers like Salesforce, Workday, ServiceNow, or Adobe. Meanwhile, we had incredible news exactly during the same month of February. xAI was acquired by SpaceX at a valuation of $250 billion. Anthropic raised $30 billion at a $380 billion valuation. And OpenAI is in talks for a $100 billion round that could push its valuation over $800 billion. The third conflicting story we're living through right now is the fact that there's over 6.5 billion people in the world that have never ever used AI a single day in their life. And only 0.04%, like a tiny slice of that, are people leveraging AI for advanced tasks like coding. It's pretty incredible, because the way we've been building software is dead. This is the year for winning enterprises to transform their product operating model and finally get out of this monstrosity. So the path to going from an AI pilot all the way to becoming AI native is messy. We call it the messy middle. But like building products, it's better to do an iterative process over a consistent period of time rather than a one-time push. A good way for me to explain why is it so hard for companies to push through that messy middle is a framework called the productivity J-curve. And this has three phases. The first phase is fun. That's the pilot phase, where companies are just investing a little bit of money to allow teams to use some AI tools, maybe build some MVPs, have some fun, experience the magic of AI. The challenge comes when it's time to put some of that magic into a production environment. That's when we enter phase number 2. We see a huge decline in productivity. So of course, it's easy for people to get frustrated, give up, and kind of default to their old ways of working. The reason why this second phase is so hard is because it requires proper upfront investment in setting up the right context engineering, data, governance, guardrails, systems, and feedback loops to make sure that this is not the classic garbage in, garbage out situation. But for the ones who persevere, who are able to really structure this in a production environment, that's when they start seeing the benefits. That's when they're seeing a spike in productivity that actually drives business outcomes. Now, I started product school 12 years ago in Silicon Valley. My mission was the same as it is today, which is to help companies build better products. My approach has always been to partner with the best product leaders in the best companies to really dissect and unpack their best practices. And that's what I'm prepared to do today. I want to show you how the operating model for AI native product teams looks like. We are living weird times. Product managers think they can code and design. Designers think they can code and build products. Engineers the same. All these roles are converging into what's being called a builder. As a fun fact, Meta, or a lot of PMs at Meta, are unofficially changing their titles on LinkedIn to call themselves AI builder instead of product manager. So I have a hunch that this is actually going to become more official. And the catalyst for this movement, which is actually a good one, is the fact that Vive coding is really product management today. I like how the creator of Cloud Code put it in a podcast interview last week. He said that coding is practically solved today, and that the software engineer title will be replaced by a builder or product manager. Now, Vive coding is just the beginning. We're entering now the phase of Vive research. Because as coding speed outpaces insight generation, and the MCP connectors are enabling seamless integration between analytics tools like Amplitude with Cloud Code, Codex, or Cursor, we're now enabling a whole new generation of product managers to not have to worry about logging into the analytics platform, generating the dashboard, struggle with the technical components. They can just prompt in natural language over any interface, even like Slack, and automatically get the insights that they need. That's Vive research or Vive analytics. But in reality, we're entering into a Vive everything phase. Now we're talking about Vive design too. The same logic applies. Connectors between Cursor, Codex, or Cloud Code are integrating with Figma. So now it's possible to start design with code and even maintain some level of autonomy within the cloud terminal. Eventually, you can push that to Figma to continue under Canvas, or vice versa. You can start a design on Figma Canvas, bring it back to a cloud interface. And all of this without any kind of design background. That's pretty magical. So those are the new Vives. This quote is from Jeff Bezos from a long time ago. He said that if you can't feed a team with 2 pizzas, that team is too large. I think that quote didn't age well because it's no longer true. In the age of AI, it's more like 1 pizza because the teams are much smaller and the agents don't eat pizzas. They eat tokens. And those tokens are not cheap. Definitely more expensive than the price of traditional SaaS tools, but also much cheaper than the salary of another team member. So that's what we are seeing now. Pizza teams for just 1 pizza. As we talk about the new scope, it's funny because I mentioned that I first came to ProductCon, to host ProductCon London in 2019, and we've been talking about the rise of the CPO. And it's been true up until 2 years ago. The role of the CPO is not growing anymore. It's actually declining, unless it evolves into either a CPTO or GM. What I mean by CPTO, Chief Product and Technology Officer, is when the actual CPO is increasing their scope over engineering to have more control over the entire product end-to-end. The alternative is to increase scope over go-to-market to have more control over the business side of things. Regardless of the scope direction, the expectation is to have more accountability over P&L and a deeper understanding of the unit economics of the business. No longer is necessary to have a CPO as a translation layer in between in technology and business. You are needing to be part of the actual business and move the needle. So this framework is called the value stick, and it's created by a professor at the Harvard Business School as a way to exemplify what are the different levers that a product executive has to ultimately drive bigger business outcomes. On the top end, we have the willingness to pay. The higher that is, the more value perceived there is for our customers, which means we have a bigger margin to play with the price. And the difference between the willingness to pay and the price is the customer delight. Ultimately, the goal is to increase willingness to pay and managing cost effectively so product teams can boost margins while preserving a healthy buffer for customer delight. Because cost is also a variant here. So we talk about the new bottlenecks. Speed is no longer the bottleneck. Product is no longer the moat. This is the easiest time in history to build digital products. At the same time, it is the hardest time in history to grow your product, to get distribution. It's an incredible paradox because we are moving away from the product-led growth era into an agentic-led growth era. In the PLG world, the whole world for product teams was to optimize their products to help humans discover it, get value before they would make a purchase decision. In the agent-led world era, the product teams are optimizing for the agents to discover the product before the humans do. For example, there are agent marketplaces as new app stores where AI agents can autonomously discover, test, adopt tools based on benchmarks or performance metrics rather than ads and polished landing pages. There's also agentic commerce sites for retail or travel where AI agents can plan itineraries, compare prices, and even transact autonomously. Now, I want to take a step back because I just painted the picture for the promised land. But as I mentioned before, there is a messy middle. I had to go through that messy middle myself for my company, because when I started 12 years ago in Silicon Valley, nobody was AI native. At least I didn't know anybody. So we also had to go through our own transformation. And I want to share the story. I want to share some of the hot takes and actionable insights with the hope that some of these could be useful as you go through your own transformation across people, process, and product. Let's start with people, because that's the heart of any transformation. We had to fundamentally raise our bar to only hire AI natives. The trade-off is that we also had to make a hard decision to stop working with some talented people that couldn't adopt AI fast enough. So on average, for every AI native person that we brought on board, and obviously amplified by agents, we were able to replace two non-AI native employees without sacrificing productivity. Another hard lesson learned through my own transformation is that this cannot be delegated. This starts from the very top, and it requires constant commitment, pushing from the top to then generate some momentum as well. And this is not just the top in terms of the CEO. I had to make sure that every single person of my leadership team, myself included, are builders. What I mean by builders is that we are player coaches. We can't just expect to manage people and ask them to do things that we're not willing to do ourselves. Every member of the leadership team is building. Of course, it's also managing work through people, but they're builders first and foremost. This is a formula that I use to assess the quality of any leader that joins my team. And it has 4 variables. The key thing about this is that none of those variables can be 0. Because if just one variable is 0, the whole formula results 0. Expert means, or producer means that the ability to get things done from end to end. Expert means deep AI expertise and curiosity to go deeper. Leader means the capacity to apply good judgment and influence others. And ultimately, manager means the ability to manage work through people. Those were my main lessons learned through our own AI transformation related to people. Switching gears and talking about process, we had to do quite a revamp of our own tool stack. In fact, we revamped 66% of our SaaS tools. And the reason why we did it wasn't only to save cost, which we did, it was also to force teams to rethink workflows, not to just copy-paste a process from one tool into the other. So as we went through the list, well, first of all, a third of those SaaS tools weren't even replaced at all. We just realized they weren't adding enough value, so we decided to stop using them. The other third were replaced by AI native tools that were more flexible and would give us the capabilities that we were aiming for. And the last third were actually replaced by products that we were able to Vive code in-house. This was another huge learning for me. As we were trying to push more AI adoption, I tried to make it a strategic goal, and then I realized it was just too easy to gain. Too many people could say, I'm adopting AI, I'm using this tool, I'm using that, but it doesn't really contribute to business outcomes necessarily. So I decided to stop that and go back to basics, using the same business goals that everybody understands that we can influence, such as revenue growth, profit margin, or product quality. Now, the key is that by influencing restrictions around headcount as well as the tools, we were basically forcing people to apply more creativity and leverage AI in order to achieve the expected results, which was a much better approach than just asking people to adopt AI. And ultimately, as we talk about the products that we shipped, I'm very proud of the fact that during the last 6 months, we were able to ship more product than the last 2 years. Starting with 3 AI native courses that we launched last December, between December and January, AI prototyping, AI evals, and advanced agents. Some of them became bestsellers. We're also releasing 3 new AI native courses between March and April. This will be Vive coding, AI product strategy, and AI product sense. But probably the thing I'm most proud of with regards to this product is that we were able to figure out a new agentic workflow that would allow us to upgrade the content of these courses much, much faster. What would take us quarters, in some cases, maybe 6 months, now is something we can do within weeks, months, max. Another important partnership we announced this month is the fact that all of our product school members can now use the best AI tools for free. We partner with OpenAI, Lovable, Linear, Gamma, Replit, Miro, and many others to let them build with their premium version of their products, which is worth over $10,000 in the market. All of the members can use it for free. The same bar that we had to raise in terms of hiring AI natives for the team had to be applied to the instructors that deliver our trainings. All of our trainings are delivered live online by AI product leaders that are actively working at some of the best companies in the world, such as Google, Spotify, YouTube, Uber, Netflix, just to name a few. I'm very proud of the fact that over the years, we've been able to upskill hundreds of product teams on AI across a variety of industries, from financial services, healthcare. We've also worked a lot in Europe, US, pretty much all over the world. But we also realized that while people are at the heart of any transformation, training is only the first step. So today, I'm very excited to officially announce the next evolution of Product School. We are launching a new service to transform ourselves from a training company into an AI transformation partner. We're moving beyond training to help you revamp internal workflows and build products with AI. And in order to kickstart this new offering, I want to offer a free AI assessment just to 10 companies in this room today. Now, this is a service that typically costs $10,000 to $20,000 depending on volume, but we'll be able to waive the fee for the 10 companies that apply from this room today. We'll work closely with your leadership team to dive deep into your org design, product strategy, roadmap. By the end of 1 week, you'll have your highest value AI opportunities identified, and what's most important is a realistic and actionable plan on how to actually implement them. So if you're ready to accelerate your AI transformation, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or apply directly at productschool.com/AI. Thank you.